Welcome to Mom's Kitchen. So this is the herb garden that I'm growing in the window. And I have growing here cilantro, garlic chives, oregano, and parsley. And I started this from seed. Here on my counter next to another window, I have growing basil, green onions, and garlic chives so far. Here on my deck, I have an early girl tomato. This is a hybrid, and I ordered this one because the tomatoes that I started from seed, the cold weather killed them while they were conditioning outside, even though I was bringing them in at night. This is a big Bertha bell pepper plant, and I picked this one up too. Same deal. The cold weather killed my pepper plants, and I had to buy one. These are my zinnia flowers that I started from seed, and these are edible. This is my celery plant that I started from a scrap of grocery store celery. You have to use organic celery to do this, but this is what it looks like after about a month of starting it from grocery store celery. Example of what the frost did. This is a marigold that I planted early, and it's not doing so hot, so I've actually planted some more seed. These will have time to grow because they grow much faster than some other things from seed. Here we have scarlet runner beans, and I don't know if any of you have ever grown these, but these will actually climb up my deck. I have this barrel here to grow them in, and these are beautiful. They'll be red flowers, and these will grow like foot-long beans that are great eaten fresh or dried and used as a dry bean, like for soups and things. And I'll be using them both ways. And then I have a couple of little onion pieces here that I started from a scrap onion. I don't think it's going to do much, but we'll see. Here are my chives, and I started this plant a few years ago. A dear friend of mine, Brittany, if you're out there, this is a shout out to you. She was working for a lady on a little small local farm, and she asked if she could get a slip off of her plant for me. And it's taken several years to develop this much, but these are perennial and they come up every year. And then I've planted some dill, and that's my dill so far. And this is 3 little sage plants started. It's my sunflower tub, and I can see I better be getting some water to these later today. And I have planted the multicolored sunflowers plus the Russian big-headed sunflowers here. And the idea is supposed to be that I plant them in this tub. This is actually an old dryer tub. And that they would go to seed, you know, and then come up again the next year. But of course the birds love the seed, and they always get the seed, and I have to replant anyways. But there they are so far. Okay, this is another raised bed of mine, and this is a celebrity tomato. This also is a hybrid, and I usually try to plant one celebrity a year because my grandfather always grew celebrities. They're about a 60-day tomato plant, so they're fairly early, and I had to buy this one also. This is my other early girl tomato plant, and you can see a banana peel next to it. I do compost, and tomatoes have potassium in them, so they need potassium to grow. So I put a banana peel next to each plant. This is my only heirloom tomato plant that I have this year. Since I had to buy, I could only find one. And this is a Cherokee purple. And I have grown these before. These take 90 or more days to start producing. And they produce kind of like a brandy colored tomato, like a burgundy-ish with a little bit of almost like black along the top, but they taste amazing, and they're a real big tomato. The pole beans up close. These I need to do some weeding out here. Okay, this is one of my pumpkin plants. One of my cucumber plants. I planted 3 different kinds of cucumbers, all heirloom, and the pumpkin was heirloom also. Here's one of my squash plants. Kind of squash. Another kind of squash. I planted yellow summer squash, and I planted zucchini, and I planted spaghetti squash. I almost forgot to tell you about my rhubarb here. This is Victorian, and I have tried to grow it here for many years, and it just wouldn't come up. My soil wasn't right, so this year for Mother's Day, I had Jacob get me a big bag of the Miracle-Gro potting soil. And I like to use things recycled for my gardens. So I found this tire and I just laid this out. I'm going to paint this red like the foundation on my house, but I haven't gotten that far. And I turned the garden up in the middle here, and I added that bag of the Miracle-Gro potting soil and some shredded paper from my paper shredder, and I mixed it all in together, and I planted it this year, and it has come up. I have this one, and I have this one that's not quite as big, so I'm really excited about that. This can't be harvested the first year. It has to get a chance to really get a good root system, but I'm excited about it anyways. I also forgot to tell you guys, I do not own a rototiller, so everything you see I have pretty much turned up by hand. My husband did help me with my squash garden, removing some of the big boulders and tree roots, but don't let the fact that you don't have modern equipment stop you from gardening. Just start slow. Like through the years, I just would have a little spot, and then I would get another little one, or find something to use as a raised bed, and I would just keep adding. And it takes me a while now to plant my garden. You know, I do a little bit each day until I get it all in, but it's well worth it, and I really enjoy it. In fact, last year I didn't plant a garden because we had so much going on with the church that I just really felt like I needed to give my summer to God, and I knew I couldn't do all of it because it was such a big load with the church. So, but I thought, well, I'll just buy, fresh produce from other farmers. And my family was so disappointed. They didn't even want to eat any of the produce that I bought because it wasn't the varieties that I normally grow. And, they're used to like the purple pole beans and stuff like that taste so great. And to just go get a green bean from a different farmer, it didn't have the same flavor. And so I'll be excited this summer to show you what I've got coming out of the garden and how I'm using it and how my garden's developing. And of course, gardening is never, a simple thing. Anything can eat your garden or dig up your garden, so it doesn't always go well, but it's worth a try. And so anyways, if you're interested in seeing what I use to dig up my garden by hand, then leave a comment below and I could show you that too. All right. Okay, and here's some more of the bush beans in this squash garden. And I have grown everything from seed unless I stated otherwise. And if you'd like to see a video of my compost or some of the other edible things that grow wild on my property, comment below and I would be willing to do that. All right, like and subscribe. Have a nice day. Bye.